You've got to shoot this bit, Margaret. You've got to shoot it.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the White Owl podcast, brought to you in partnership with the fabulous Ski Weekends. I'm Dom. I started in the Snow magazine about 18 years ago, and now run a bunch of social channels, the print magazine and the fabulous In the Snow Mag YouTube channel. I'm very excited to introduce my YouTube and podcast co-host. It's Rob Stewart.
Thanks, Dom. Yeah, well, you can also see me on In the Snow YouTube channel, as you say. I'm reviewing and getting stuck into all the gear that's launching each season. I've done multiple ski seasons over the last 30-odd years. Done most jobs in the ski industry, really. Ski instructor, ski shop, chalet operations, and now I run a PR media agency looking after destinations like Crans-Montana, Ligier, Jungfrau Ski Region, to name just a few. I suppose I'm a self-confessed gear and ski gear enthusiast. I mean, some might just say a geek, actually. Take out
Rob. You're a cool geek, though. You're a cool geek.
I don't know
it's
about
best
that.
Type. Best type. It's a new term. I think they call it a neek.
I'll take it. I don't care.
Well, it's great to be back each week, bringing our listeners the latest ski news from around the world. Where is best to ski right now? Something everybody wants to know, surely. Reviews of the hottest ski gear. It's definitely a bit of you, that, Rob. Our regular race updates from the Ski Racing Podcast with Ed Drake. And, of course, each week we delve into some of the most incredible ski destinations on the planet. Wonder where we're going this week. Can't wait. Ooh. And all that in association with Ski Weekends, our trusted headline sponsor for this season. Very fortunate to have such a great partner on board with the Whiteout podcast. I've been working with these guys since I started the magazine about 18 years ago. They're specialists in great value short breaks, offering 3, 4 or 7 night ski stays in catered chalets, fully flexible hotel options. So whether you're a solo traveller or planning a group ski trip or looking for accommodation in some of the biggest and best ski areas, Ski Weekends has got you covered. Visit their website, skiweekends.com. I had my first stay with them this season. I'm very much enjoyed it. My first day in 18 years. Don't know what's happened. But I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. I was bragging about it yesterday to somebody. Very nice trip, very nice day. Lovely jacuzzi, great food, great staff as well.
Yeah.
Great staff.
Brilliant stay with Ski Weekends last season in Courchevel 1650 or Courchevel Morillon. And I totally agree with that. Staff were brilliant. Chalet was great. Brilliant location. Always have a good time. And I know they are our partners here on the Whiteout, but I can genuinely say that every time I stayed with Ski Weekends and in Avoriaz as well. Brilliant stuff in Avoriaz.
I stayed in Ligier, as you probably remember, Rob, and it was a really nice location, just really nice staff. They were kind of there to help, but they weren't right on top of you, which was really good. Great food. I don't eat onion soup. And the guy said, try an onion soup. I said, I don't want onion soup. And I ate his onion soup. And now I like onion soup. So, I mean, it must be good. And it was
I think
it's
just great catered chalet accommodation, isn't it? I think there's obviously less and less of that type of chalet accommodation available these days. Ski Weekends are doing what a lot of the British skiing public want, just a really good quality, solid chalet, catered chalet with British staff. All of that stuff going on, and we love that product, and it is just less and less of it, but fortunately they're still doing it really well. So I
met some very cool people. It was really nice, sitting in a hot tub with a bunch of new people and talking to them about what they do. It was good fun. So really enjoyed it.
I quite enjoy that. I do actually quite enjoy the whole sort of meeting people and having dinner with them and talking about what they do. And I do enjoy that side of things. I know it's not for everybody, but I think 99% of the time people that stay in ski chalets generally like the same things that we do, right? So
exactly. So what else has been happening, Rob? What's going on?
We're just out the other side of the February half-term holiday weeks now, so I guess it's time for the real ski season to start, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess many people start thinking it's over when we hit March, but nothing could be further from the truth. We've had some great end-of-season snow the last few years.
Oh, yeah. I think March is arguably the best time to ski in Europe and North America. Even April over the past few seasons has been epic, really has been, especially if you've got to go high in April, right? So, resorts over 1,500 meters, basically.
Yeah, that's true. But, some end-of-season snow has been fantastic for the last few years. I've seen many a skier have a great holiday over Easter. Over the last few seasons, we've seen that snow come in, and it's been some of the best snow of the season. As this podcast goes out, we're heading to Nova Scotia in Canada. Cape Smoky. Wow. Pretty new ski area right on the Atlantic coast. Pretty exciting, Rob.
Pretty exciting. We're talking about altitude. I looked up the altitude of Cape Smoky yesterday, and guess what? The altitude is 0 meters, which does make sense considering we are literally on the coast of the Atlantic. So Cape Smoky altitude zero. It goes up to like, I don't know, about 380 meters, which is a really good, good little vertical, isn't it?
It is. I can't wait to get a photo next to 0 sign or a 380-meter sign. Are we at the highest ski resort? That'd be quite cool.
Brilliant. Yeah. We'll definitely be talking about that in our next episode. I've just been to the ski area of Mutteralm. It's literally like 15 minutes drive from Innsbruck Airport. Took my daughter there Monday to Thursday. I did it half-term week because the flights were much cheaper in that midweek slot for half-term because it's so close to the airport. It didn't matter that we had this short trip, flew in the evening, flew out in the morning on Thursday. So we got the cheapest flights, 3 nights, great short break destination, really good for families, great for young kids, also very good for beginners, nice beginners area, but also some nice long runs. Quite a big vertical there. It's like 1,000-meter vertical from top to bottom. A big long red run, big long blue run, and a shorter black run. It was just perfect, really.
Would you say that is the closest skiing to an airport in Europe?
I'd like someone to challenge that. I think from Innsbruck Airport, you're talking literally you can get up there in 15 minutes. It's an international airport and you're there at your accommodation.
Would you say that's the quietest half-term skiing? It could be, couldn't it?
It wasn't busy. And I'm not sure why. Apparently the week before was busier because it was Austrian holidays. But I went to the UK half-term week. And I must say, we certainly didn't queue for a lift once. There were no queues. And the slopes at times were literally empty and very pleasant indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, not only have I got Nova Scotia, Cape Smoky on my radar for going out this week. In fact, we'll be there when this podcast goes out. But I'm off to Javinia as well, and also to Aspen. Sorry, just had something in my throat there. So I got quite a good end of season coming up, and I think we're also in somewhere else in the Dolomites, and I can't remember where. So yeah, exciting. What else, Rob?
Well, if you're going to start doing that sort of thing, after Nova Scotia, I'm going to Crum, Montana. Then I'm going to Grindelwald. Then I'm going to Morzine. Then I'm going to Arosa. And then I'm coming home.
Really wanted to go on that Arosa trip.
Oh, yeah, it's a shame. Well, still a chance. I still want to do that whole Norway ski touring thing in April and May. I've just been away too much. I went up there 30 years ago, right, up to the north of Sweden, north of Norway. It was absolutely fantastic. But people didn't ski tour in those days. There wasn't really anything set up for it then. You know, I literally had my telemark skis with me and I ski toured with them. It was absolutely amazing. I just want to go back.
Yeah. A proper 24 hours daylight then.
Yeah, pretty much. It might have got dark for like an hour. It felt like pioneering stuff back then. It was a party in one of the ski lodges at the end of the season. I was treated like a celebrity just because I was British. Not like that now, I guess. They're probably used to British people up there now.
You'd probably be ignored now.
Yeah, true. Probably. Well, I was like 24 years old with a goggle tan.
You've still got the goggle tan, Rob.
True. I just get weird looks now walking around Hereford.
That's not the goggle tan.
Yeah, probably not. I might be the ski boots and the helmet that do that.
Yeah, sensible attire for walking around your local Tesco's, I'm sure.
Well, in Hereford, yeah, definitely needed sometimes.
So, what have we got coming up in this episode?
Well, of course, we've got news. Where is best to ski now? The gear guide and our destination of the week, which I am going to mention it. It's Saas-Fee. And of course, as we've said, Ed Drake's Ski Racing Corner. Wow.
Yeah, there's still a lot going on in the ski world, Rob. And yep, Saas-Fee, it was my first time there. I know you've been there a bit over the years, but I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Dom. What's up in the news this week?
Yep, here in the White Alps Skiing News, we bring you the latest updates from around the skiing world, from exciting resort developments, events, and everything making headlines in the ski world. So let's get stuck in. What's first, Rob?
I was going to ask you as well for this story. I mean, it's a horrible story, but yeah, okay. Yeah, well, this is not a very nice story, Dom, but I think we should mention it as a reminder that we need to be aware of potential dangers when they might not be expected. A 23-year-old British man has died in Avoriaz after falling from a cliff following an après ski session. It appears that when skiing down from Avoriaz, the man got lost and then removed his skis and fell. It's just really sad, but it's important to understand that we shouldn't ever ski alone or after the runs have closed. I'm not suggesting he did anything wrong in this case. I'm just saying that as a general reminder.
Yeah.
And there's no details about, alcohol being involved in this case or anything. But obviously, if there has been, we can take the lift down. It's really important to state that taking skis off on a steep slope is not a good idea. You've got way more control with skis on than off. I mean, it's just a really sad reminder that things can go wrong very quickly in these situations. And our condolences go out to the man's family, of course. Just very, very sad. Sad to hear about this.
It is extremely sad. And as you say, our thoughts go out to friends and family. And I think it's very important to remember, while this is an extremely fun and generally safe sport that we all do, the mountains take no prisoners. And I think it's respecting that at all times. And
absolutely.
It's very, very important to remember those safety aspects.
Yeah. Well,
so moving on, Montagne Verte, the environmental non-profit based in the Morgine-Léger area, has expanded its Alpine Express initiative, making it easier for skiers to choose low-carbon travel to the Alps, which is cool. The Alpine Express Pass offers discounts on ski passes, accommodation, transfers, and more across Morzine, Avoriaz, and Léger, helping to make train travel not just greener choice, but often the cheaper one too. So now, Montagne Verte has introduced a series of train travel guides designed to take the guesswork out of getting the Alps by rail, which is really handy. Definitely benefit from that, because when I come to get the train, I'm always like, where do I go and how do I do that? So that's handy, covering everything from navigating Paris and Lyon to finding stations, facilities, and reserving onward transports. The guides aim to remove common barriers to train travel. So you can check them out at montagneverte.org. I will put that in the notes just to make sure you get the spelling correct.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice initiative. Right, another news story here. If you're desperate for a ski fix but stuck in the UK, don't worry. There is hope. New research from Blacks. And I wanted to mention this story because I'm just going to drop in that Blacks was the first job I ever had working in a Blacks store selling ski kit a long time, many years ago. It is ranked the best regions for winter sports, and shockingly, Scotland comes out top. Funny about that. Yeah. It's with actual mountains and ski resorts like Nevis Range and Glenshee, and a solid 21 days of snow a year. Doesn't sound like a whole season, does it? But probably that is about right. It's about as close as we get to the Alps. If you live in the north of England, certainly. If you don't mind the occasional gale force wind, skiing in Scotland can be fantastic. Coming in second is the southeast, which might raise a few eyebrows. But with 18 ski slopes and 11 ice rinks, I guess it's a strong contender. I guess swapping Courchevel for the dry slope at Chatham does take a bit of imagination, but, it's good. There is a dry slope in Chatham. Snow Zone in Milton Keynes leads the charge here with its 175-metre slope, offering a respectable alternative to the real thing. Well, certainly it's a good facility as well, like the Snow Centre at Hemel, etc. They're all good facilities. Northwest rounds out the top three, thanks in part to Manchester's Chill Factory, the UK's longest indoor slope at 180 metres. It is about the length of a big turn in a downhill race, but again, brilliant facility. Great that it's there. London, unsurprisingly, isn't exactly a winter sports paradise, according to the report, scraping in at 10th place with a grand total of 1 ski slope. At least there are a few ice rinks to practice edge control before heading for the Eurostar train. The full rankings are available at blacks.co.uk.
Fantastic. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that was just a ploy by the PR people at Black. Get some story coverage, and it worked.
It did. Absolute ploy by the PR. And I looked at the press release when I first got it and thought, what on earth are they going on about? But of course, good on them for giving it a go and getting some coverage out of it. Well done, PR people at Blacks.
But also this weekend, history was made in the world of ski racing as Mikaela Shiffrin became the first skier to hit 100 World Cup wins. To put that in perspective, the second most successful female ski racer is Lindsey Vonn, retired with 82. So Shiffrin isn't just breaking records, she's completely rewriting them. Win number 100 came in the slalom in Sestriere, Italy, where she dominated yet again, finishing over a second ahead of the field. But what does this milestone actually mean for Shiffrin? That's what I'm thinking. Where does she go? And is anyone else there to challenge her? We've got former GB racer Ed Drake joining us later in the podcast to break it all down. So stick around. This one isn't one to miss for sure. Ed Drake will tell you, uncovering everything we need to know.
Yeah, I'm sure Ed will discuss it later in the show. But it was incredible to watch. Many years ago, our good friend, Martin Bell, British ski racer, said to me, look out for this youngster, Mikaela. She's going to be a star. He said, no one had heard of her. Well, he wasn't wrong. But yeah, big congratulations to Mikaela. And I thought it was, I've got to mention it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
For our news this week. Now it's time for Where's Best to Ski Now. We both love talking about snow, Rob. Let's face it, it's essentially what this is all about. So let's get stuck into where the best snow conditions are right now and where is best to ski right now. I'm hoping the first thing you say is somewhere like Cape Smoky, maybe Aspen, or any of the 19 places you're about to visit next week.
Well, we're going to go into some detail over that. I think generally snow conditions are looking really good. I mean, it's been mostly dry and sunny across Western Europe in the last week, but there was some snow at the end of last week. Most of the region's ski areas are fully open, right? So it's been a really good period. We've just seen the busy February half-term weeks, but with decent snow cover in all the major resorts, it does help to spread the load when it's busy. And temperatures did warm up a bit, but it didn't seem to impact snow coverage. Over in North America, it's been the opposite, with really cold temperatures at times. And once again, some of the heaviest snowfalls of the season recently. They were the biggest in California and that sort of western side of the states last week, up to 1.3 meters of snowfall reported in 36 hours in some places. Wow. And then for the Rockies, snowfall continued over a longer period. Some resorts in Colorado and Utah seeing their biggest falls and subsequently their best conditions of the season so far. We're going to run down some of the different countries and different ski areas, Dom.
Start with Austria. Decent on-piste snow conditions remain in place. Austrian ski resorts continue to offer decent on-piste conditions. Past week has seen a mix of sun and cloud, with temperatures fluctuating but generally remaining not too far from freezing levels. Most resorts report their slopes are 85 to 100% open. Snow depth slightly below average for this time of year, notably the Arlberg region encompassing St. Anton, Lech, both substantial snow coverage. The upper mountain depths reaching up to 190 centimetres. Similarly, Kitzbühel offers 170 centimetres of open slopes supported by efficient snowmaking systems, so that's great. If you want to listen out, there's an Arlberg special podcast, which I'll put a link to in the notes. You can go back and listen to that Arlberg special edition podcast as well. Obertauern continues to operate at full capacity with all lifts running and open. The resort benefits from higher elevation, ensuring that consistent snow conditions are kept throughout the season, which is really good as in those higher up resorts. Looking ahead, forecasts indicate potential for light snowfall in some regions, which should help maintain the current quality of slope. So must visit Obertauern, Saalbach, Hinterglemm and Arlberg, which is Lech and Anton, those areas. So there you go, Austria.
Yeah, looking good. So I'm going to look at France. Snowfall and sunshine also return. The French Alps continue to offer excellent skiing conditions at the moment, especially over 1,500 metres. There was a week of snowfall last week, accumulations in some places reaching up to 60 centimetres in 48 hours. Snow depths have rebounded to near those sort of peak levels for this time of year. Port Soleil, Three Valleys, basically got 100% of their terrain open at the moment. The weather is starting to look settled over the next week or two. Temperatures are going to rise as we go into March, but it doesn't look like it will get too warm. So I think conditions will hold up nicely. If you're looking at sort of must visits, Port Soleil's in great condition, Three Valleys are in great condition. So
very good. Cold weather and snow in the Dolomites. Recent weather patterns have brought fresh snow to northern and western regions of the Italian Alps. In the Dolomites, Madonna di Campiglio has benefited from recent snowfall with current conditions at 1 degree and partly sunny skies. Forecast indicates a bit more snow over this weekend, with temperatures ranging from -1 to 3, which previously faced limited snowfall has recently received a significant boost with 35 centimetres of new snow. And the Milky Way ski area, straddling the Italian-French border, including Sestriere, Salzideux and Montgenèvre, is in good shape.
Montgenèvre.
I've not skied in Montgenèvre. I drove through Montgenèvre to get to Serre-Chevalier, and it's always a place I've fancied going.
Years since I skied in Montgenèvre, but I have skied there. That was a long time ago.
So they're all in good shape. We saw the extensive snow cover over last weekend in the women's slalom with Mikaela's win. There's some light snow forecast over this weekend, then sun for next week. It will feel a bit spring-like at times.
Yeah.
Must visit Madonna, Livigno and the Milky Way.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Switzerland now. Solid snow again across the whole country. Swiss ski resorts are experiencing very favourable conditions following a week of decent snowfall, particularly at higher elevations. Resorts such as Verbier and Zermatt report over 300 kilometres of open terrain. And we saw great conditions over last weekend in Crans-Montana, of course, for the men's downhill and Super G races that took place. In Verbier, the recent heavy snowfalls have really improved snow depths, with the resort reporting a top snow depth of well over a metre, and a base depth at the bottom of 30 centimetres. The last recorded snowfall was last week, February 23rd. It's set to become a bit more fair over the coming week, generally in the valley region with lots of sunshine. Same with Zermatt. It's had snowfall as well. Light snow, temperatures forecast to range from about -3 to 1. It's holding up nicely. They will get a bit of new snow over the next week. Switzerland is looking good, but there are more spring-like conditions on the way for next week and possibly into the week after as well. A bit hard to say at the moment, but with temperatures not getting too silly. Must visits Verbier and the Four Valleys, Zermatt, Livigno, of course. I'll add Crans-Montana in there because the race is over now. You can ski that amazing new men's downhill course.
Perfect. Fancy must visits being Verbier, Four Valleys, Zermatt, Livigno, and Crans-Montana. That is obviously a must-visit set of resorts.
Well, you could just happily live ever after, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Happily ever after. So Pyrenees, fresh snow and mixed conditions in the Pyrenees, following a period of warmer weather that had previously diminished the snowpack between Christmas and New Year. The recent precipitation has notably improved conditions across the region. In Andorra, approximately 70% of the slopes are currently open. Soleil has recently had decent cover on the piste, but there's not much off-piste to be found right now in that region. Saint-Lary, located in the French Pyrenees, reports 90% of its slopes are operational. Colder air is also expected to move in with snow and flurries anticipated over the next few days. Verbier, which we also did a full episode on earlier in the season, also reporting improved conditions as of February the 20th. The resort boasts a base depth of 75 centimetres with all 36 lifts operational, providing access to 69 pistes. The recent snowfall has enhanced the quality of both groomed runs and off-piste areas. Overall, recent snowfall has revitalised the Pyrenees, for sure, with many areas approaching full capacity. So must-visits, Saint-Lary and Verbier.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was speaking to people yesterday in Soleil and Andorra, and they were having a great time. But like you say, Dom, we're in good shape, but limited onto the piste at the moment. They've got a good base, and if it snows, well, it will snow again. I think they'll have a good spring skiing season. Sure. Quick look at Scandinavia. They're getting some powder snow and still cold temperatures in the Scandinavian ski resorts. I mean, there's good conditions there. Some recent heavy snowfall, particularly on the Norwegian side. Some of those western resorts, if you think of Mørkedalen and the places near Bergen, got up to 50 centimetres in the past week. Further east, they've got a significant amount of their slopes still open. More snow is anticipated to arrive in Sweden. Sälen is benefiting from recent snowfall, contributing to improved skiing conditions across that region. Things are starting to warm up a bit over there as well. It looks a bit more spring-like as we head into March. But our must-visits are Hemsedal, Trysil and Gelo. I might add Mørkedalen in there as well. It's a place that I've still not been able to get to yet, and it's definitely on my list. One of the most snowy places in the entire continent of Europe.
Heading to Eastern Europe, better snow conditions there due to recent snowfall. In Bulgaria, Bansko reports 13 out of 14 lifts operational with great on-piste conditions. They've had significant snowfall of 17 centimetres between February 16th and 18th, but the sun is coming out and it's looking pretty spring-like as we head into March. But there'll be lovely spring conditions there. In Chechnya, technically Central Europe. Here we go. I knew I was going to get this wrong. You've done this on purpose. Spindler of Mlin.
Yeah, you've done a better job than I would have.
Has received fresh snowfall too. And clearly, geographically, it's very different from Bulgaria. And temperatures in this part of Europe that would also include the likes of Jasna in Slovakia are generally remaining cooler over the next 2 weeks, and we'll get some good top-ups. That's nice. Overall, the recent snowfall has revitalised this area of Eastern European ski resorts, and I'm pleased to say that the must-visit destinations are Bansko, Spindlerov, of course, and Jasna.
Well done. Good pronunciation. I'm going to talk about Scotland. This is very updated. I've been looking at all the skiing areas in Scotland. It's been very up and down this season. There has been some promising snow at times. Right now, the western ski areas of the Nevis Range and Glencoe look a bit better than the eastern side, but you need to check their own websites for updates because it has turned milder again. They need quite a lot of snow to really get things going again up in Scotland, which can happen overnight, and we might be skiing powder again in Scotland this season. I'm sure we will at some point, but our must visits are, well, you just need to check what the conditions are like locally before you commit to anything right now if you're planning to ski in Scotland.
In Canada, best in the West, Canadian ski resort. Got varied conditions between eastern and western regions. Head west for the best snow. So in Alberta and BC, British Columbia, so you and me. Resorts are operating at near full capacity with snow depths ranging from 1 to 2 metres. Lake Louise, all 12 lifts are operational. I love Lake Louise, providing access to 154 out of the 164 trails. Most recent snowfall was on February 23rd. Some upcoming weather forecasts indicate temperatures remaining around the freezing level, with some snow forecasts as we head into March. Whistler Blackcomb was last year. The resort reports 33 of 35 lifts in operation, covering 335 out of 342 trails. Wow, that's massive, isn't it? Temperatures look a bit milder going forward here, but more snow is in the forecast, especially for upper elevations. So must visits. Obviously, must visits. Lake Louise and Whistler. I mean, where else? I mean, come on.
We are going to Canada next week, but I've heard that the snow in Cape Smoky is pretty good, even though it's on the eastern side, which hasn't been quite as good as the west. But again, the same with the USA. The Pacific Northwest leads the way, and ski conditions across the United States vary by region. The Pacific Northwest resorts like Crystal Mountain and Stevens Pass in Washington State, they've received significant snowfall over this season. Now totals are exceeding 5 meters there. Both resorts are still getting it. In the Rocky Mountains, if we consider the Rockies run right the way through from Canada all the way down the US, they've experienced significant snowfall as well. There's great skiing conditions. Aspen in Colorado, Dom, forecast indicates a mix of sun and clouds, a bit more new snow over the next few days. In the eastern US, some areas have experienced really heavy snowfall, such as central New York, where this lake effect snowstorm led to significant snow accumulations and even structural collapses, apparently. Other regions like Connecticut, which is probably not going to be on the big tick list box for most British skiers, they are seeing milder temperatures there, up to 10 degrees centigrade now, which will affect snow, but I don't think we're rushing to go to Connecticut. Overall, the Pacific Northwest and Rocky Mountain regions currently offer the most favourable skiing conditions, while the eastern US presents a bit more of a variable scenario. But yeah, check out Crystal Mountain if you're brave enough to go into the Powder, Keystone and Vail.
Yeah, Keystone and Vail, 2 great resorts. I enjoy Keystone. So in summary, wherever you are heading right now, you're probably in for a good time. I mean, spring skiing, it's going to be nice. I don't think we're going to be in for big slushy areas. I think it's going to be pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I totally agree. It seems pretty solid on piste. Resorts are in good nick right now, keeping us in decent condition as well. It's looking like another classic spring skiing season.
Yeah, well done. That's a great roundup. I mean, where else do you get such a good roundup? I think I'm going to start putting our Where is Best to Ski Now into a YouTube video and have it on our YouTube channel. I'm going to start doing that, Rob. Why not?
Good idea.
Light's gone. I'm going to change these lenses, people.
So next up is the Gear Guide, where in conjunction with the In the Snow Mag YouTube channel, we delve into and preview and review the latest and greatest ski gear that has caught our eye, from skis and boots to helmets and goggles, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. We've got gear to keep you safe and stylish. So what have we got this week? While I think of that, Rob, we've also got our Skiing 101 podcast that we're doing in association with Crystal Ski Holidays.
Yes, we have indeed.
Yeah.
Good to mention that.
Yeah, it's a 4-part mini-series. So if you know anyone who's keen to get into skiing but is terrified at the thought of booking their own ski holiday or wondering where to go, then put them onto our podcast, because we've got a 4-part mini-series in association with Crystal that tells them everything they need to know, from how to go with babies, what kind of resorts to look for, best types of accommodation, safety on the slopes, everything. So we're 2 parts into 4 parts of that 4-part mini-series. Just thought I'd get that out there, Rob.
Yeah, good to mention that. We want more beginners getting skiing. We want to bust some of those myths out there about what skiing is all about, because skiing is actually fun.
And anybody can do it.
And anyone can do it.
Available to all.
Literally, when you start to, pretty much everybody.
And before we get into the gear, Rob, sorry to interrupt you, we've also got our competition as well, where we're giving away a pair of Helly Hansen legendary insulated ski pants, a Helly Hansen Odin 40 backpack, a pair of Panda Optics goggles, the Diablo, a polar print neck gaiter from Buff, and a Miso stainless water bottle. All you got to do is head over to our Instagram channel, In the Snow _magazine, put a comment against the post and share it with a mate. Then you're in the competition to win it. So far, we have given away some lovely Oakley goggles last week. We had a GoPro the week before, and we've got this fabulous little bundle this week. Also, with a chance to enter, you can also leave a comment about this podcast. So all you need to do is head over to the review section of the podcast on Apple or Spotify, leave a little review that says you love Rob and you really like me as well, and you'll be entered to the competition as well.
In today's gear section, Dom, we are going to look into the latest innovation in ski touring. Wait for it. Electric assisted skis.
Oh, come on.
2 companies are on my radar. Eskimo and Vipera have recently launched products, or at least, in the process of launching in the space. They've both contacted me recently too. So let's take a closer look at what they're offering.
Okay, Rob. So Eskimo.
Yeah.
Developed by the Swiss company E-Outdoor, aims to revolutionise ski mountaineering with their electric-assisted technology. Their system features motorised treads integrated into the skis, allowing users to go up the slope up to 80% faster while reducing muscle effort by 30%. This means skiers can conserve energy on the climb and have more stamina for the descent. What do you think?
Yeah, it's impressive. The Eskimo system includes a removable gearless hub motor, right, and a 220 whatever that is, wattage lithium battery on each ski. And they've got advanced sensors and a 6-axis inertial measurement unit. That is a bit like what you might have if you've got an iPhone or something like that. There is something like that in the iPhone. It's very clever technology. But that ensures the motor engages intuitively based on the skier's movements. Right. So it's kind of like a seamless integration. It's designed to enhance this sort of uphill ski touring experience, but you can still ski down on the skis.
On the other side of the Atlantic, we have Vipera, a product from Boston. It's at a startup called Frigid Dynamics.
Yeah.
The Vipera skis are equipped with ultra-compact, virtually silent motors and a removable drivetrain. This design allows skiers to tackle uphill terrain with ease and then remove the drivetrain for a traditional skiing experience on the descent.
Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to highlight the differences between those 2 systems. The Eskimo, basically, the movement is like ski touring, right? Your heels lift out of the skis and you ski tour, but it's assisted by a battery. The Vipera system, you just stand on the skis and the motor drives you up. So you're not ski touring. It's just basically pushing you uphill. It's designed to get you up the slope and you can, of course, ski down again as well. So pre-orders currently open with $199 deposit for those guys and a full price set at $2,999 right? I mean, the shipments for those skis are expected to begin in September 2025, according to the company.
Wow. Interesting to see how both companies are addressing that sort of challenge of uphill skiing.
Yeah.
Eskimo focuses on integrating that technology directly into the skis, offers a seamless experience for mountaineers. In contrast, Vipera provides the flexibility with a removable drivetrain. So that's quite interesting. So that gives the skiers the option to switch between powered and traditional skiing. Do you think that takes the fun out of it, or is it the same argument as e-mountain bikes? It just enables you to go further for longer?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Well, let's just say that it could make people go for longer. That's what e-bikes do. And backcountry skiing could be more accessible.
Yeah.
That, of course, has its challenges. You could go for longer in the mountains. As they become more available, it will be interesting to see how the wider ski community reacts and potentially embraces this new technology. It is interesting. Yeah.
So if you want to learn more, you can visit Eskimo's official website at e-skimo.swiss and Vipera's website, Frigid Dynamics, frigiddynamics.com. We'll keep you updated on any developments and share our hands-on experience when we get hold of the chance to test these innovative skis out.
Yeah, the team at Eskimo have asked me to come and test their skis. They are ready to test. So that's really interesting. So I'm going to try and do that while I'm out in Switzerland next month. It's funny because a few years ago, I worked on a video campaign with Action Outdoors, and they made a fake video with Eskimo.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, and it went viral. And we all laughed about this, because e-bikes were sort of becoming quite a big thing. And it was like, let's launch an e-ski. It was all an A-Falls joke, and people loved it. I mean, now it's not a joke. It's actually coming.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
E-bikes had a bit of resistance to start with, and people thought it was just a lazy ride. But now it's been completely embraced. It's hard to walk around a corner in the Alps and not find an e-bike somewhere.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think e-bikes have become very acceptable to a lot of cyclists now. A big question will be over safety in the mountains. It's going to be the biggest area we'll need to deal with if it allows people that maybe aren't experienced and used to ski touring to suddenly fly off into the backcountry. But, those challenges can be dealt with. It seems like a natural progression in a way, and I'm sure e-skiing will be here to stay, whatever some people think.
Well, it was very interesting for the gear section this week. Now it's time to head over to the race corner with ski racing worldwide. In this segment, we're joined by British alpine ski racer Ed Drake to bring you all the action from the slopes, covering the latest results, standout performances, and insider insights from the world of ski racing. Let's get into it. Ed Drake, what's going down?
Hey Dom, hey Rob. Just a quick note from me at the Ski Racing Podcast. It's been an epic couple of days, but everything about the last weekend, the last couple of weeks, has been about Mikaela Shiffrin finally picking up the 100th World Cup victory. I mean, that is just insane. It's just insane. She was absolutely on fire on the slalom. They're racing in Sestriere, and that's where she picked up the 100. 13 years after her first ever World Cup victory. Unbelievable stats, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Just career in general. Just amazing. Thoroughly deserved. She's been having a tough time coming back from the injury that she sustained in Killington when she was on that 99 World Cup victory. She was going for that 100. And then, didn't manage to get it done. The men were racing... so congratulations to her. Sorry, apologies. But yeah, congratulations. What an absolute terrific achievement that is. Will it ever be bettered? I can't see it happening, but you never know. The men were over in Crans-Montana. Snow conditions were really good. I'm sure you guys are all across the snow conditions across the Alps at the moment. But yeah, all very, very good indeed. Nice and cold. It is going to be the home of the 2027 World Championship. There was a bit of unrest across the men's World Cup field, saying that it's a little too easy. It's not quite at World Cup level. But supposedly the organisers are saying that they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to make some changes through the summer, going to do some earthworks to the hill. And hopefully they will have something a little bit more testing. But it wasn't in terms of the hill wasn't the most testing, but the racing was amazing. The top 16 was separated by a second in the Super G, which is one of the closest races that we've seen all season. The Swiss team on fire. They picked up their first clean sweep of the podium in, I can't remember the stat. It's something crazy, which is a little bit mental. Sorry, I'm literally bouncing a baby whilst talking to you here. Life is never going to stop. It never slows down. But yeah, so it was amazing. The Swiss team on fire. Von Allmen backing up that World Championship title that he picked up a couple of weeks ago over in Saalbach. And then delivering on the World Cup again. Zermatt was second that day, and then the second day on the Super G skis, he went, hang on a second, guys, I've got this covered, and showed the young bucks what it's all about. So, as we're closing in on the end of the season, I think there's about 3 weekends left. This coming weekend, the women are in Kvitfjell, Norway, for what is a really cool track for the women's speed race, and the men are in Kranjska Gora. What are the conditions like in Kranjska Gora? Because it is an epic slope. It's an epic World Cup hill. But because of how low it is, if it is warm, it really, really suffers. So you guys will be able to tell me better than anybody else what the conditions are like in Kranjska Gora. So we're really hoping that it is nice and cold and compact. The 3 Brits, the Queensmen, will be in action. Dave, Billy and Laurie, off the back of a really great World Championships. Dave, with that 6th position, should have unlocked some funding from UK Sport, but stranger things have happened. We know that those guys at UK Sport seem to have something against the Alpine team, which is a real shame, but results obviously are crazy good. Laurie will be a bit disappointed with that, did not finish. He was going so well in the first run of World Champs, so he may have a point to prove. We're hotting in at the end of the season, closing in at the end of the season now, which means you've got to be in the World Cup 25 if you want to go over to Sun Valley and race World Cup finals right at the middle part of March there. Well, that's all I got time for here. If you want to catch up more, head over to the Ski Racing Podcast. I'll hand over and back to Dom and Rob. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys soon.
There you go, Rob. What do you think?
Yeah, well, there's lots going on still, isn't there, in the world of ski racing, and Ed covers it really nicely. Congrats to Mikaela, and we'll look forward to hopefully seeing more of her, that she doesn't decide that after those 100 ski World Cup wins, let's be precise, that she decides that, there's no more to be done. I'm sure that she doesn't think like that. And of course, her boyfriend was watching that race from his bed after yet another, hopefully his last shoulder operation, to recover fully and get back into ski racing. We need to see those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Very admirable indeed.
This seems a bit steep for a blue.
So moving on to our destination of the week, which you've already told our listeners, it's Saas-Fee in Switzerland.
Saas-Fee in Switzerland, Dom. Actually, quite conveniently, you've just returned from there. So, how was it?
It was great. It took me about a day to settle into it, but I really liked it. I don't think I absolutely knew what I was expecting. One notable thing for me was the ease of getting there. I really enjoyed the journey. Flying into Geneva, I took 3 people that were graduating of inexperienced skiers, which was quite interesting. It was lovely to walk through customs at Geneva, walk, 50, 70, 100 meters down the concourse there, straight down onto the platform, get on a train. It felt very nice and a very relaxing way to start a holiday. I love the ski area. I fell in love with the place at Saas-Fee. To be honest, when I first arrived, I wasn't 100% sure, but actually I settled into it and loved it in the end. So
that journey, you got the train from Geneva Airport and it goes around Lake Geneva or Lake Clermont, and then heads Martigny, Sion, and then did you change at Visp?
Yep, so we stopped at Visp and then we were going to get a bus up, but actually, because it was a little late when we arrived, so we thought we were just going to jump in a taxi, but we could have waited 20 minutes and got a bus. We decided to take the shortest route. We jumped in a taxi straight up the hill in half an hour.
Yeah. I've been to Saas-Fee several times over the years. It's been a while since I've been there, but I must say it's very unique, sort of almost like, dare I say it, Zermatt-like, without quite as many international tourists.
Yeah, it was a little Zermatt-like, but I felt that it was different enough. It was unique. It felt like a very calm, very serene area. It felt very untouched. I didn't feel like there was a lot going on to make sure everything was super polished. It felt quite real and it's difficult to describe, but it just felt like it was a really natural place to ski, which seems a strange thing to say, but the village, the beginners area, it all felt very natural. I don't think they spent ages trying to polish everything and make everything immaculate and this bit of pavement's warm and you can walk on it because there's no ice. It felt very natural. And I really actually liked that. And I fell into that sort of very natural and very calm, serene feeling that the whole village and the mountains offered. It felt traditional, car-free, again adds to that whole serene feeling. As you can probably tell by the words I'm trying to use, if I was a better journalist, then I'd have better words at my disposal. But it just felt very, very nice.
Yeah, but it's interesting how you describe it because it is one of those things that's quite hard to put your finger on exactly what that place is about. And it's very hard to compare it with anywhere else. Yeah, but it is pretty unique. I mean, what about the skiing? You were with people that hadn't skied nearly as much as you have, obviously. I mean, how did they find it?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. On the first day, I had somebody who hadn't skied for 7 years and then a couple of other skiers that were sort of early intermediate. So they're kind of okay, but they're not great with the steep stuff. Saas-Fee's got this fabulously large area for beginner skiers that ranges from toddlers in a little snow park garden that's virtually flat to some really nice T-bars that take you up to a large area of beginner slopes. Very good for those early skiers to really hone skills or just get their legs back, maybe after they hadn't skied for a while, perfect that snowplow or perfect that parallel turn. It was a very impressive, very large area. The jump up from that, there was kind of a gap in the middle in Saas-Fee. So I really enjoyed the big, fast, long, sweeping red runs that you just race around and quite steep. I hate using the word steep because I think it's kind of a word that maybe would put people off, and I certainly wouldn't want people to feel put off, but I did think there was a little bit of a gap between that lovely beginners area. And when I say beginners, I am not talking just snowplowers. I am talking people right up to learning their parallels. Quite a nice area.
Yeah.
3 extra people I was with quickly outgrew that area within a couple of hours there. And then when we went up the hill, it was suddenly like, oh, wow, crikey, this is really different. They didn't have so many early blue runs. It was more straight into good red runs. The interesting thing is not so many chairlifts there, more gondolas and bubbles to get you around. You'd feel very encompassed in the mountains, which is a lovely feeling. Everywhere you look 360 degrees, you've got these giant peaks all around you, which is super impressive. But there is that gap between those very early beginner slopes to fast-ish reds. But I loved it. I mean, it was just one of those places that you could get up and race around. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember that too. And the runs are very long, aren't they?
Yes.
It goes from well over 3,000 meters back down to the village, which I think of from memory is around the 1,500 meter-ish. I might be wrong about that, but something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, you have got Saas-Grund across the road, across the other side of the valley.
Yeah.
I think there's some pretty nice blues there as well, isn't there?
I stayed in Saas-Grund, which is about 10 minutes outside of Saas-Fee by the free bus, which was regular.
Yeah.
I stayed in a very nice apartment, a lot lower cost than staying in the middle of Saas-Fee, and great views and everything else. We had a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment there, very big, and breakfast delivered in the mornings. That was very good. It's much quieter, so there's no real après there, some quiet bars, very friendly, nice local people. Wow. So very friendly. And the ski area is actually very underrated. And interestingly, even though it's quite a small ski area at Saas-Grund, some really nice skiing there, which would bridge that gap from that beginner's area to the faster red. It's got some lovely big floating blues. I took these guys there on the 3rd day there, and they really came into their own. Even though they'd had a great time on, they all managed. Yeah, just so that everybody knows, even the guy who hadn't skied for 8 years, on day 1, he was straight up to the top of Saas-Fee and skied straight to the bottom and never fell. Whilst then big, fast rolling reds in Saas-Fee, he got down with no problems.
Right.
But Saas-Grund does offer that sort of slightly midway of those nice blues, big, wide, sweeping blues, a really nice little ski area, and a little sunnier there as well, which was very nice.
Isn't your mate's called Franz Klammer, isn't he? Because I thought Franz has just taken 8 years off. Yeah. It's good they got his feet back again. No, actually, I spent a week in Saas-Grund many years ago on a basic course, and that's why I remember those kind of blue runs, really nice and cruisy area. I'd say, you know, that sort of that landscape that you describe is absolutely spectacular in Saas-Fee. I've actually skied there more in the autumn, funnily enough, on the glacier, because I've been up on the glacier for various reasons over the years. So you've obviously got that big glacier area at the top with, which in the winter provides that sort of big, wide open red runs, doesn't it? And what about for non-skiers in Saas-Fee then?
So lots of stuff there. There's excursions on the Fee Glacier. You can do big old snowshoe tours up there, which is really nice with mountain guide. Amazing views, the ice formations and crevices and all that. It's fantastic. That's a big old tour if you want to do that. 4 to 5 hours, about £170 a person.
Okay. Pretty epic. Really it's nice. A proper, it's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I didn't do it myself, but there's winter hiking. We did a tour that went up the Hannig lift. It was only about a 5 kilometre walk down. We didn't have much time, but it was just before our bus arrived to take us back. So we thought we'd do this 5K walk down. Absolutely glorious, just walking down and looking over the incredible mountain range that we've been skiing for the week. So that's fantastic. So if you like a bit of winter hiking, snowshoeing, or even if you've just got that last morning where it's not worth skiing, but you want to do something extra, it's really nice. You've got sledging and all sorts of stuff. You can do night biking. They've got spas and some fantastic hotels. They do a fondue gondola, which I think they call fondola. So that's a pretty cool experience where you get in a gondola and have fondue. So yeah, lots of stuff. There's a bit of après going on. It's not a place where people are dancing on tables, but a few nice bars with some dancing. There was a few people dancing on tables at one point, actually. I think they were a Norwegian bunch.
Oh yeah.
Lots of non-ski stuff going on. And just a nice town to walk around. Very relaxing. Few coffee shops. Nice.
Yeah, because it's a nice village, isn't it? I mean, the actual village itself, you know. Yeah.
So it's a pedestrian village, narrow streets, a nice mix of architecture in terms of the fact you've got super ancient little chalet wooden buildings on saddle stones about a metre off the floor.
Yeah.
And then you've got these much more modern buildings, but built really sympathetically and looking beautiful. So, very nice. Smart. And a few après bars, a few nice restaurants. It's not cluttered with those. You don't find restaurant, bar. It's not like that. There are shops in Saas-Fee. There are shops, there are bars, there are restaurants, but it's not cluttered with them. So it gave that very nice, calm feeling as well.
So who do you think Saas-Fee is suited to then? Families, beginners, experts, all of those?
It's interesting. I mean, certainly for those intermediate skiers that loved racing around the hill, it's beautiful for that. I'm very keen to take back my family, but the kids are experienced skiers now. They've skied a lot of places, so they'd handle those red runs quite well.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't say if you're just learning to ski and you're all a bunch of beginners, this is the perfect place for you. I wouldn't say it's ideal for that. But if you're a family that can ski and you enjoy that serene feeling in the mountains, there's some beautiful hotels in town and lots of apartments. It doesn't feel overbuilt. So I think families and good intermediate skiers that can handle your speed a bit, all of those sort of people. But probably if you're a family thinking we want our first destination, it's not the place for you.
Okay. What about any secret tips that I might not even know about? Dom, I've been there a few times. Anything you found that you might want to share?
I would highly recommend, which felt hideous at the time, was the sunrise skiing, which was a 4:30 get up, a 5 o'clock bus. Obviously, you wouldn't have to get up so early if you were in the centre of Saas-Fee, but the buses weren't running as often at this time in the morning.
Yeah,
it was a 6 o'clock ride up, first ride up on the Alpen Express, straight to the top restaurant. 3,500 or whatever it is meters. It's the highest revolving restaurant in the world. Candlelit breakfast. I mean, generally, it was a spectacular
3,400 meters.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was miserable at 4:30. I was thinking, do I need to be doing this? But actually, you know what? At 6:30, as that sun came up over the peaks and the candlelit restaurant revolving and serving a really nice breakfast, very nice breakfast.
Right.
I think there was probably maximum 34 of us. Everyone there with the same purpose. Like, not many people that are getting up at 5 o'clock to do this. And you can have your breakfast, and then they take down the barrier to say, basically, from now it's safe to go, when the light's enough and when the pisteurs have done their work. And it was a truly sublime experience. We all do these fabulous things when we're out on press trips. We just had a stunning day. We'd had 10 centimetres fresh snow the night before. It was gorgeous. I mean, It was just as that sun came up, the orange over the mountains, the fresh snow, and we were the first people down. It was just incredible. So, well worth it. It's not heavily publicised, and you don't get big numbers going up there. So I think that 4 a.m. start is well worth it. If you can look ahead at the weather forecast and think it's going to be clear, I would.
So anyone can book that. Sorry, just to be clear,
anybody can book that. It's 40 euros a person, and that ticket gets you. It's an additional ticket you need on top of your ski pass to go up and do that in the morning. Okay. I would guess you could probably do it as a foot passenger as well, i.e. you could go up there as a foot passenger.
Yeah, of course.
You'd probably have a bit of a
cable car, isn't it? And the railway, the funicular railway.
That's right.
That goes up under the mountain. Yeah.
There was a point when we were going up in the lift in the morning, the first lift, and of course it was pitch black. So because we were a lot of hot breaths with the very cold air outside, it steamed up. Suddenly there was a panic of, is there zero visibility? Are we not even going to see this sunrise? That was slightly disconcerting, but I tell you, that early morning get-up was so worth it. It was such a good ski down. And the three other relatively inexperienced people all said, Dom, that was epic. It's very, the word is overused, but they said that was the most incredible ski down.
I think when those things go right, they're really worth it. And it's not very often you're going to be up on top of a Swiss mountain that high as the sun is rising in the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So I think that would probably be one of my top tips. There was a couple of really nice restaurants that we visited that I'll put in the podcast notes.
Okay.
And some really nice coffee shops as well, that if you just want to kick back with a bagel and a coffee, just some lovely relaxing places, and some fantastic apple strudel there as well. I waited some time for it, and I joked with the lady and I said, am I ever going to get my apple strudel? She said, it's going to be worth the wait. And when it arrived, it was the best apple strudel I've had. So, a couple of little secret tips there of the best things in Saas-Fee for sure.
Generally, of turning fruit into really unhealthy dishes. But I think that's brilliant because especially through the winter, you just feel like a bit of fruit. I mean, you get an apple strudel, or there's all sorts of other fruit dishes. And I joke that it's unhealthy because at least you are eating apple. It might have a lot of sugar in it. But
interesting you should mention that, because I'm a fruit addict. And in Saas-Fee, there was 2 or 3 good-sized supermarkets. I was grabbing a bit of fruit for the apartment. There was a lot of apartment accommodation there. So if you do go there and you want to self-cater, it's very geared up for that. Great supermarkets and great accommodation. So if you want to go as a family and or friends and just hang out in an apartment, then absolutely it's well geared up for that. Just nice calm après. I did get a very serene feeling. Interesting. Actually, my wife is out in Saas-Fee now at one of the very nice hotels there. She has that same feel. It's incredible. She's not someone that would relax quickly into a trip like that. And she said, I instantly felt relaxed here. So definitely it's one of those reports that if you're looking for those few days away and just that easy journey in as well. So, there you go, Saas-Fee.
There we go, Saas-Fee. All right, good to hear all about that, Dom. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning into the White Out Ski podcast this week. We hope you're feeling excited and ready to take on your next trip. If you've liked today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to leave a review for us, because reviews are like our Google juice. It helps people find this podcast next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listeners are soaring, Rob. We've got loads of listeners from 72 countries now, thousands of downloads per episode. I want to try and hit 10,000 downloads in an episode. That's what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
So that's what we're going for, Rob. I think this could be the episode. If everybody shares this with one friend, I think we'd get there.
Okay. Sounds good to me, Dom. I get a lot of really good feedback from people about our podcast. I think we're probably pushing 60 episodes of the podcast now, which is brilliant. I love doing it, and I love the feedback we get as well. So thank you very much to all of our listeners.
Yeah, indeed. And that's it for this week. Rob, the next time I see you, I'll be bleary-eyed in Heathrow Airport heading for the Cape Smoky in Nova Scotia. See you in a couple of days.
Yeah, see you in a couple of days.
Talkie-walkie. Pretty sure it's called a walkie-talkie, mate.